This one of the craziest stories I've ever read. His first television show has been on the air for 3 days, but Ronan Farrow has just won an award for his journalistic work. He has just won, 26-year-old Ronan Farrow has just won the Walter Cronkite Award for excellence in exploration of journalism.
Is that true?
Yeah.
That's true?
He was on the air for 3 days. 3 days, and he has just won. This is the president and the
Nobel Peace Prize.
Nobel Peace Prize.
Yeah.
This guy is the next Anderson Cooper. Remember when Anderson Cooper, all of a sudden Anderson Cooper was like everywhere?
Yeah.
And you're like, who the hell is this guy?
At least he had accomplished things.
No, I know. No, I know. But I mean, we were all like, wait a minute, isn't that the guy from the Big Brother house, the Mole or something?
Mole, yeah.
Wasn't it he was the game show host from The Mole.
But I think he also did stuff on ABC News. He had done a decent amount before he kind of broke in.
Well, he has written, I will tell you that,
Ronan
has written op-ed for the Wall Street Journal.
Okay.
And the Atlantic and Foreign Policy.
He
has written an op-ed for the Wall Street Journal.
The Atlantic.
The Atlantic and
Foreign Policy.
The Foreign Policy.
3 days on the air.
That is unbelievable.
And he wins the Walter Cronkite Award for journalism.
Gosh.
That's awesome.
That's crazy.
That is crazy.
800. What was it, Sarah? We wrote it down.
800-722-9550.
We should call that number and see what it is. But it's a free Justina. I didn't actually hear the sound of the audio. I just look up, and it says, "Why is this happening?" Because her parents disagreed with Boston Children's Hospital, and so it's a number where you can call and help free Justina. And I will tell you that she is. There is a lot of progress being made on this. I think because of you, because of this audience, I think she's going to be freed. But I will tell you this. There's grave concern about what is happening. There's another story on the Blaze today about another family, this one in Alaska, who has just had their son declared a ward of the state. And the Alaska family is saying they're living in an absolute nightmare. Mom said, "I cry every day. I cry every night. It is a nightmare." We'll get into this story a little bit later on in the program, but this is not just happening.
No, it seems to be sweeping the country. And
well, it is the state. This and education. The state is saying you don't have a right over your kid. And it started really in schools where, the kids were told, you can have trip to the abortion center, and go to Planned Parenthood and get whatever you want. And you don't have to tell mom and dad. You just tell us. It started there. And so they took control of your kids and your kids' bodies and everything else and said that you are a secondary fiddle. Up in, is it Rochester? I think it's Rochester. Rob Petrie and his wife, they were telling me that at their school with their kids, you can't opt out of certain things now. In kindergarten, they're having this, kind of sex ed thing for kindergartners.
And you can't opt out of it?
You cannot opt out. The state requires it. You cannot opt out.
Oh, that's unbelievable.
Yeah, and they said, well, then, my kid's going to be sick. And they said, well, they can be sick, but when they come back, there'll be a special class for him. What, excuse me?
Taking my kid out of school?
And you know what? If you do that, I can guarantee you the state will then look at you and say, something's wrong with that family.
Yeah, send CPS.
Yeah. Guarantee that will happen. You know what? Eric Schmidt it says in his book, he's not going to probably say this on the air, but in his book, I urge you to read that book. In his book, he says, look, you're going to be able to opt out of all of these things. You'll be able to opt out of all the Google things and all the tracking things and everything else. But governments around the world will then look at you and say, why are they opting out?
He did admit that in the book?
Yeah, he did. Why are they opting out? And that will make you a target of snooping because they will say they're hiding something.
Wow.
That's in the book.
Wow.
Yeah, that's in the new Google book. Why are you opting out? You're a target. Nobody is reading this stuff. I swear to you. They did 300 interviews with people and they told me I was the only journalist they felt had actually read it. Imagine that.
Amazing.
You're getting a book from the Google guys talking about what the future is. It has all that kind of stuff in it, and nobody read the damn book. They're just like, hey, tell me about Google cars. They're going to drive themselves, huh? Wait a minute. Can you go over you're not going to be able to opt out without coming under suspicion?
Beck Pro.
So I'm just looking at the Blaze.com, and I'm seeing the lead stories. And one of them is the fiery takedown. This is the headline. The fiery takedown of Cuban socialism by Marco Rubio. And apparently he really kind of laid into somebody about Cuban socialism. And I said to Pat, I said, hey, have you heard that Marco Rubio fiery takedown of Cuban socialism? And he said, no. And I said, did you see it on the Blaze? He said, yeah. He said, but I don't really care about Marco Rubio, so I didn't look. And I said to him, that's exactly the way I felt. Yeah. I didn't even look at it because I don't care about Marco Rubio anymore. Mm-hmm. And I look up to what we call the mosaic, which tells us everything that everybody is reading and doing on the internet. And I'm looking at that mosaic and I see, this exchange between a famous actor and a Democrat isn't exactly what you expect to see. Then major updates in Justina Pelletier, gun confiscation in Connecticut. Oh, there it is. The fourth biggest story of the day. And that should be, if Marco Rubio was the Marco Rubio we thought he was, that would be the number one.
I think by far, yeah.
By far. That would be the number one thing.
If it was Rafael Cruz, it'd be number one.
Yeah.
I mean,
it
look,
would be.
the guy obviously hurt himself with the immigration stuff. I mean,
I think he hurt himself beyond what anybody thinks.
Yeah, maybe you're right. I mean, I was we did the Club for Growth rankings yesterday. Mm-hmm. Marco Rubio is 91% on the Club for Growth rankings. He has a pretty good rating outside of that one issue. I mean, but that one issue it's a big deal, and people are not willing to look past it at this point. I think he's got to understand how much of how detrimental that was to him.
Well, that's really bad because what happens then is the guy starts to move farther left because he's like, look, I can't get support from the Tea Party, so what the hell am I even doing? I won't be able to get elected by those guys. So I need to reach out to somebody that will help me get elected. And he'll move farther and farther left. But I think he's damaged beyond repair.
Yeah, I mean, you don't even hear him really mentioned much as a possible candidate in 2016. And you used to. I mean, right after he was elected, everybody's, well, this guy should run for president. This guy should be. In 2012, people wanted him to run for president.
Yeah, I mean, look, he's a really good candidate. He's well spoken. He understands the issues.
Good looking guy,
sexy, as Pat just pointed out.
Mm-hmm. I don't think you both
good on most of the issues.
Really hot.
Both. Wait a minute, this is uncomfortable now.
Damn sexy man. You're right.
I don't.
Stu.
No, wait a minute.
You're right, Pat. He is really good looking.
Guys, I think this is uncomfortable. I don't know. I mean, not that any of that is wrong.
No, right.
You know, even if it's just for the weekend. Homosexuality is not just for homosexuals anymore. Everybody should try it. Yeah, because I mean, otherwise, I mean, it's at some point.
Right.
At some point, I think we're all gonna, I think we're all gonna have to.
We're gonna be forced.
Give it a whirl. Mm-hmm. Give it a whirl.
You don't know if you like something until you try.
That's exactly right. Why be a hater and say you don't do that unless you give it a whirl?
How do you know?
How do you know?
Right.
All right. I'm just saying. So you're right. He's a damn sexy man.
He is, and so he has a lot of real positives, and a lot of the things
he does, and he's good on a lot of issues.
He is.
He's just bad on a couple. Immigration's one of them, and I don't remember right now, right off the top of my head, what the other one was. But there's been a few issues where we've been like, what?
Yeah.
What? Mm-hmm. Where did that come from?
He's not Mike Lee. I mean,
no, he's not.
No.
Or Ted Cruz.
No, he's not Mike anybody.
But he's also not Mitch McConnell, and he's also not Lindsey Graham. And, look, you're going to have some sort of spectrum here.
He's the beginning of Lindsey Graham. He is the beginning of Lindsey Graham. You got to give this guy more time.
At one point, Lindsey Graham wasn't Lindsey Graham.
Yeah, at one point, Lindsey Graham was Marco Rubio.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I don't know.
I don't ever remember Lindsey Graham being that, getting a 91%.
It was a long time ago.
Yeah. I mean, I can look up his lifetime ratings from Club for Growth. They're not going to be 91%, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, you got to believe they're really low now. But
Lindsey Graham is like 20?
No, he's higher than that. All the Republicans are much higher than that. But
John McCain. Was it John McCain then? Somebody was
The
39, I
lowest
think.
one was
39.
Susan Collins, I
Susan
think.
Collins,
and
yeah.
she was 39.
Now, where was McCain and like Lindsey Graham? Weren't they in the 60s or
Yeah, in
something?
the
Oh, I thought they were lower than that.
No,
Yeah.
but that's pretty low.
That's horrible
That's
for
low
a Republican.
Republicans.
Horrible.
That's bad.
Well, who are you to say that's horrible?
A conservative. I'm sorry, a constitutional small government person.
Conservative.
Conservative. It's okay after the constitutional small government thing?
In Lindsey Graham's entire career, he's never had a rating within 5 points of what Marco Rubio did last year.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But he's been within 6.
He had 86. He had, he has been within 5. That's
Okay,
close.
you lied.
You
lied.
Why are the
Listen to
lies?
these numbers.
happening?
72, 52, 72, 65. I mean, yeah, he's had a couple in the 80s, but really, the guy's been a disaster when it comes to economic responsibility. And, that's not what Rubio's done.
I won't continue to hear your Marco Rubio.
Am I a Rubio apologist? Is that what I am?
You are. You're a Rubio apologist, and I won't hear it.
No, I mean, I'm critical of him on that issue,
Oh, yeah.
but he's not as bad as
Yeah,
Lindsey
whatever,
Graham.
Stu. We stopped listening to you for a while ago.
You were responding to
I
my
don't know-
direct sentences.
I
You
don't
did not
know
stop
why.
listening.
I don't know why you hate the Tea Party as much as you do.
I
but-
don't hate the Tea
No,
Party.
yeah, whatever.
I'm a big
Stu.
fan.
We got it.
It's what America heard.
That's what America heard. That's what I heard. That's what Pat heard. That's what America heard. Now, saying that they don't like Rubio either, but they watched that on the Blaze and they said it's really, really good. So I guess we should watch it. It's 14 minutes long, so you can watch. Well, wait, it's a really good. But it's a big takedown.
Oh,
Well, he's taking down socialism. You clearly agree with him on that
I
topic.
do.
yeah,
I
I
don't
mean-
understand why Pat is like all of a sudden.
oof. Man, I can't wait to watch and hear that because, boy, that will mean a lot coming from Marco Rubio.
Well, I mean, I
Oof.
think he does believe. I mean, he is.
Yeah, I'm sure he does.
Cuban, so
Yeah,
I think he believes
right.
this.
Yes, I'm
Not
sure
sure
he
what
does.
else he believes in, but I'm pretty sure that he believes that Cuban socialism is a nightmare.
Yeah, which is not a surprise to me, and that's why I'm not surprised he's taking down Cuban socialism. I get it. I already know it's bad, but that's great. That's great. Good.
All right. Okay. All right. Well, then here you go.
And it's fiery, though. It's fiery. It does
Right.
say it's fiery. It's a fiery takedown.
You know what? People are so cynical now.
I know.
They are all so cynical that it's like you screw us once, man. You're like,
I know.
you know what? I can't pay for lunch this time. Oh, really? Really?
Well, especially with politicians. We've been burned too many times.
Yeah.
I've gotten
the thing
attached
that
to these guys. I love them, and then they kick me where I live, and I'm just tired of it. And he did that. Christie obviously did that. We've just
Christie,
happened
we didn't-
over and
come
over
on.
and over again.
We knew something was wrong with Christie. We kept saying,
but
we kept saying, why this guy is great. Why isn't everybody up in arms about him? There's got to be something there. And then
and we found out.
And then we found out about his global warming stuff, and we're like, okay, well, let's not. I mean, shh.
Then we found out about the immigration stuff. Then we're like,
the gun stuff.
The gun
You're like,
stuff. And then it's
oh,
like,
yeah.
okay, I can't. I just
Can't do it.
now. No.
And so I just don't even want to go down that road anymore. It's just like I'm done with you. You really? You're for amnesty? Done.
Mm-hmm.
And that's an amazing thing that I don't think Washington really understands. We're just you're going to have only the Karl Roves to support you. That's all you'll have.
Are you saying essentially, though, that you must agree with every single thing that a candidate says?
No, but there are some make or break issues. Immigration is one. It just is. It's too important to our future. That's a make or break issue. Abortion is a make or break issue to me because it's too important. It's about the life of a child. Those are too important.
Bailouts.
Too important. The big government stuff.
Too important. Common Core, too important.
Yeah.
It's just,
So-
we're now at the place. I mean, remember, I said this 6 years ago. Look, the time to be reasonable and rational is right now. Because as these things continue to escalate and be bigger and bigger problems, it's going to look more and more radical. It will take more and more to solve these issues. You got to get off this road right now when it's easy. Well, now it's not. Now it's just not easy. And so now you look like a radical. But yeah.
But you just said Common Core was a make or break issue, and you still said many positive things about Scott Walker and Mary Fallon, who both agree with.
I don't think I'd vote for either one of them.
For president, you mean?
Yeah.
So you're not saying he's the worst senator in the world, Rubio. You're just saying he's not the guy I want for president.
And he's not a guy that I would vote for. If I were in, look, if Mary Walker
Charlie
really
Crist, you go with Crist on that one?
Yeah. if you're really sitting there and you're saying these things and I have to vote for you, I'm not interested.
Yeah.
I'm just not interested. I'll look for somebody else.